Just to elaborate just a little bit, my name is Tom Palm from Design and Layout Services out of Minneapolis. Now, my background is in restaurant equipment supply. Family business goes back to 1910. Griddles, charbroilers, fryers, ranges, walk-in coolers, doing restaurants for Mall of America food courts, Chinese restaurants, corporate cafeterias, you name it. And all of a sudden the coffee thing hits in the early 90s. Have you ever heard of Caribou Coffee? Based in Minneapolis. So all of a sudden, everybody wants to have a Caribou in their town. Somehow I get labeled as the coffee guy, because I would be helping out the espresso dealers and the roasters with the back of the house stuff, the equipment, the plumbing, the electrical, the permitting. So I was having espresso dealers and roasters refer people to me to help them with their coffee shop. So this is in 95, 96. 16 years later, we've done projects from Rwanda to Sitka, Alaska. And prior to getting involved in the restaurant equipment business, taught 6th grade math and coached. So I've got a nice classroom here. You're all awake and willing to learn, so that's great. So you get a chance to grade me at the end too. So that's a little bit about myself. I want to know a little bit about you. Raise your hand if you're just researching this industry and you're not sure, but this is a good spot to start. Raise them up. About half or 30%. Who's actively looking for a location? You're going to do this once you find the right spot. Okay, 6, 7, 8 more of you. Who's signed a lease, building permit, going through the planning? I mean, the train's left the station. This is going to happen. Who's got a store? How many? 2? Oh, how many? 1? Anybody got more than 1?
I got 1 opening, the second one.
So he's our expert right here. So if I can't answer, I'm going to lean on him.
That's why I'm here.
Oh. All right, so that's a little bit, about you, a little bit about me. What I'm going to do is we're going to open a cafe right now in about 4 minutes to bring everybody up to speed to show them what's involved. And then we're going to go back, break it down, and analyze what we did, why we did it, to save you some time and some money. So, in order to open a cafe, you got to find a spot. So you're driving around town looking for sale and lease signs. Wherever you go, might be a new construction, strip center. And you'll go around and get these handouts from the real estate agents. Do I want 1,035 square feet? Do I want 2,000? Maybe there's an end cap with a drive-through. We'll talk about that. What is an ideal space and how much square footage should I have? You look at the demographics. Who lives there? Is it growing? How much money do they make? What's their age? Income? So you want to know everything you can within 1, 2, 3, 4 mile radius of that spot. You decide on this corner location here, housing development, school, Microsoft industry, hotels going here, right on the main thoroughfare to get out to the highway. Great spot. Single building, freestanding, dirt floor, so there's no preconceived things you have to work around, so it's all wide open. So the first thing you do is you go see the building and the health department to find out what the rules are. We're going to get into detail on those items. You put together your floor plan based on your menu. You put together their spec sheets, elevations, plumbing, electrical plans. Put your project out to bid to various contractors. You get your building permit, and you show up the next day. Contractor says, I'm going to start working tomorrow. And he says, stop over and we'll just kind of review where we're at. So you stop over and you went like, oh my gosh, what happened to my cafe? We're digging wells in North Dakota, or what are we doing here? Well, they bury all the underground plumbing, cement truck comes in, pours the floor dries, walls go up. In those walls you've got a lot of plumbing and electrical lines. You stop by every night after work. How's it going? Are we on schedule? Are we on budget? He's a little worried. He says, no worries. Everything is going per plan. Answer a few questions. And he says, I'm just going to keep rolling along. Sheetrock, tape the walls, paint the ceiling, tile the floor. Kitchen area is all done. You call up your equipment supplier and say, bring in the equipment. We're ready. Truck shows up. The door opens. You unload it. There's all your boxes, sign here, Merry Christmas in July. You open all these presents, there's sandwich prep tables, they roll them into the kitchen. That's all getting set up real nice with the sinks and the shelving. Now it's time for the counters and the countertops. You've got a drive-through window that's going to get cut in, some doors to be hung. The base cabinets are in, the menu boards, the detail paint goes in, the seating arrives, and you're excited about this bar counter for customers to sit and watch what you're preparing drinks, because espresso is a little new to your area. You love this corner booth for little groups, small meetings, whether it be garden club or book clubs and that sort of thing. You put in your retail and do some final training, and the next day that sign comes down and you're open, but you can't sleep because you're a little nervous. You built it, will they come? But you're convinced, you've had a lot of nice compliments and encouragement. Boom, first person there, the lights go on, brew the coffee, you've got your first customer, and you're so excited you got $2 in the till. Now you just have to do that a few more 100,000 times. But you turn around, there's 2 more people sitting there having coffee, and they're happy that you're finally open. They've been waiting so long. Outdoor seating gets filled up. Great afternoon. Wonderful first day. You're real positive. The next day, you're packed. The word gets out. The next day, there's just, you don't know what's going on. Every seat is full. Friday, there's people lined outside the door, waiting to get in. You thank people for coming, you get to know their names, the staff is working hard to prepare all the drinks, and they're standing room only waiting to sit at this bar. Word gets back to Boston that there's this famous coffee shop that's now going to take over Cheers as the most famous bar in America. This is only Friday, it's only been open 5 days. So they sent a representative out to check out the Retro Roast. So Cliffy comes in, and he makes a call back to Norman and says, Normie, they're not serving beer, so we're safe. But while he's there, he signs some autographs, does a little Nemo impersonations, a few photo ops, and at the end of the week, you count the money in the till. You had projections, and you find out that you did it just a little bit better than you thought, just a little bit. So you bought yourself a present because you worked so hard. Now you guys at Open Cafes, this is exactly what happens. I'm sorry? A Lamborghini? This is not your style? And the Mercedes? So you people that haven't opened, just, this is how it all works. So let's back to reality. Going from a dirt floor, open space, how do we get to opening? Now, grab your handout. Page 1, here's what we're going to talk about. The building and health codes, deciding what's on your menu. What equipment do you need to support that menu? How do you design your floor plan? How long does it take? And some of the mistakes that cost you thousands of dollars.
I need one of those, yeah.
Here.
Thanks.
All right, so we're going to start off on page 2. Talking about the most important thing. Building and health codes. Building codes, all these things, parking, zoning, fire exits, ADA codes, restrooms, ventilation, sprinkler system, grease traps, architectural stands, permits, and lead time. Extremely important that you people go see the building inspector early, before you sign a lease. If you haven't, it's time. Now, just to give an example of what happens here, we're going to talk to, tell a little story. You're going to open your dream cafe, you find this perfect location on Main Street, 1,500 square foot, used to be a flower shop, they retired, they moved down to Florida, and for the first time in 50 years, you've got 1,500 prime square feet of real estate right on Main Street. The realtor wants it, the salon wants it, the bookstore wants it, and you want it. And if you don't sign this lease now, it's going to be gone. And this is exactly what you're looking for. So you sign the lease, apply for a loan, create the plans and the construction documents, hire a general contractor and submit the permits or the plans to get the permit. Your dream cafe just became a nightmare. And here's why. The flower shop only needed 4 parking stalls. But the cafe, because you have 30 people in there, more people, more parking requirements, you needed 14. And you thought, well, Main Street, there's plenty of parking. Well, unfortunately, the other restaurant, the hardware store, the beauty salon, and the antique deal, they don't want you to be too terribly successful because they won't have parking for their customers. So there are requirements. The city will say, if you're going to open this cafe, you need to have designated parking. You need to have 14 spots that are just for you. If you don't have them, chances are they won't let you open. So make sure you have parking for the space you're looking at. Fire exits. The flower shop had 1 front door. This side was a hardware store. That side was a beauty salon. If you went out the back side, you drop 8 feet in the schoolyard. It doesn't work. There's no way in or out of the flower shop through the front door. It's over. There's no variance for a life safety issue. So you move on. This flower shop will not work. The restrooms had a little tiny 1960s 2x3 bathroom. It's just for the employees. Well, that doesn't work anymore. They're about 7 foot by 7 foot, and then they need to be handicapped accessible, so they're bigger. And not only that, because you have 35 people in your cafe, the plumbing inspector says, I need 2 restrooms. Health department says 1, but the building inspector plumbing says, I need 2. So now, instead of a little 3x5, now you got to tear it out, put in 2 new restrooms, handicapped accessible at $6,000, $7,000 a piece, which you didn't even dream of having to do. Also with the ADA codes, when I went into the cafe, there were 2 little steps to get up into the cafe, open up the door, and I walk in. You know, that was for the flower shop. Not anymore. I can't have those steps. I need to have a ramp. So for every inch I go up, I got to go out a foot. So those 2 steps at 7 inches apiece turn into a 14-foot ramp that's 4 feet wide. That just wiped out seat, 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 retail, retail. The other problem is that the door swung in. 1950s, 60s building. You can't have a door that swings in because if there's a fire and there's people panicking because the place is burning down, it's time to get out, I come up to the door and everybody's pushing on me. We got to get out. I turned around and said, Sam, back up into the inferno because we got to pull the door open 3 feet. No, that don't work. So doors need to swing out so that if there's a fire, they all panic and spill onto the sidewalk. But now, you say that's not a problem. Contractor says no big deal, we take the hinge, we swing it out. Oh, so I'm walking along the sidewalk with my smartphone, checking my email, and boom, whack. Door open right in my face. Okay, now the door can't swing out because of the sidewalk. So I got to take the door and I got to recess it back in so when the door swings out, it doesn't encroach on the sidewalk path. You hear the nightmare? You had no clue this was going to hit you. Just a stupid door with 2 steps. Turned into a ramp and now a recess. Oh my gosh. Now, the electrical panel. Little 100 amp panel. Well, refrigerators, panini grills, display cases, espresso machines, brewers, hot water towers, dishwashers, freezers, ice machines. 100 amp? No way. 200 amp? Yeah. 400 amp? Yeah, you start getting into dishwashers and heavy, panini grills, dishwashers, you will. So now you got to upgrade your electrical panel. The heating air conditioning unit. All right, the flower shop only needed 3 tons to keep things cool in the heat. But now you've got all those compressors putting out heat. You know, all these warm bodies putting out heat. And the little fireplace in the corner putting out heat. And you can't keep it cold enough all summer long. In Minnesota, you do not need to heat a coffee shop. Just the heat from the compressors and the fireplace and the people, and you're fine. All right? But in the summertime, when it's 80 degrees, you got to keep it cool, and that's the issue. So now you got to upgrade the heating air conditioning unit. Now you happen to expand or something, and you now went to 2,000 square feet. And the building inspector, fire marshal says, now put a sprinkler system in because your occupancy is so big. How much that cost? Well, not too bad. You know, business is just booming. But now you go to the contractor and he says, you know what? You only got a little 3-inch pipe coming into the building, and to handle a sprinkler system, you need a 4-inch. There's not enough water to sprinkler the system because the pipe's not big enough. Not expensive to trench all the way across Main Street and down and put in a new pipe. Nah. Nightmare. Grease trap. What's a grease trap? A little box that sits in the ground under the 3-compartment sink that will filter the water prior to going down to the waste treatment center. What's grease? I'm not doing French fries. I don't need it. You have a pat of butter on that blueberry muffin? Oh yeah. Grease. How about soup? Grease. I've heard milk called grease. Or needing a grease trap. If you have a 3-compartment sink, we'll show you that in a minute. You're a restaurant, you put in a grease trap so they don't have to deal with it. That could be an expense. All right, so a little note here, you should get 1 ton of air conditioning for every 200 square feet. You can make a note of that. I think in the handout it might say 5 ton, but for every 250 square feet, have 1 ton of air conditioning. So it'll be in your lease. Check it out. Health department doesn't care about anything we just talked about. So you need to see both people. There's building inspector, Bob, health department, Mary. Mary only cares about, I don't care if you have an ADA restroom, and you only need 1 for your employees. That's not my deal what happens out in the customer area. So you got to talk to both people regarding these issues. Health department's involved with equipment. They want to make sure that your equipment has ETL, NSF, or UL listings. That's commercial equipment. It holds temperature, or it'll keep things hot. It's easily cleanable. It's not made of toxic materials. You can't go to Walmart and buy a microwave. I got daycares that used to come in and says, health department busted me because I got a little toaster from Target. You know, they're $30 and now I got to buy a $150 one? Yeah, that happens. So they're concerned about the floor, wall, ceiling finishes. Smooth, durable, light colored, easily cleanable are keys. So an acoustical ceiling is not approved in a food prep area or the serving counters because acoustical ceilings are porous, they're not cleanable. Fluorescent lights or even can lights, track lights, whatever, need to be shielded so the bulbs don't break. Because the last thing you want in a cafe or restaurant is broken glass. So Sarah's first day, she's sitting up at the front counter, she's making a blueberry smoothie and she's got the mix going in here, she puts the ice in and looks up, there's her boyfriend and hits the switch. Boom! Smoothie mix all over the ceiling. Not only that, all of the ice cubes went up and shattered all the light bulbs. Now you got smoothie mix, you can't clean it, you got glass everywhere. So they want to make sure if there's accidents that you can easily clean things. That's the floor, wall, ceiling in the food prep. You go out to the dining area, shake carpet. Doesn't matter. You have wide open ceiling with beams and ducts. But when you go in the back room, kitchen, prep area, you can't have this exposed duct work because when the door opens, the wind blows, the dead fly drops in the soup pot. Now, go out there, sit down, door opens, fly drops in the soup pot, that's okay. Kill them once they pay. Just so long you got their money first. The rationale, I'm not sure. Are there any health department people here taking away their evaluation now? They want to make sure you have enough refrigeration. Sinks we're going to talk about. Tons of sinks. Mop sinks, hand sinks, 3-compartment sinks, prep sinks, rinse sinks. If you have enough shelving to store things, we're going to talk about. Here's one crossover, ventilation. If you say the word cooking, odds are you're going to need a hood. Okay? If you have gas equipment, you need a hood to expel unburnt byproducts. So cooking of meat needs a hood. Gas equipment needs a hood. Now if you're baking, chances are par-baked items you don't need a hood if it's half size, maybe a full-size electric convection oven. So you take a panini grill, you start putting focaccia bread on there with olive oil, go to a spot, look at their panini grill, and look at the back wall and the ceiling above it. If it's all yellow, chances are the next time health department comes in, they're going to say, change your operation or put a hood on this. Because that's a sign of grease-laden vapors, which makes it hard to clean, which that's what they're trying to solve. Counters and millwork, they want to make sure that it's on 6-inch legs, they can clean underneath it. It's made out of durable material. Some areas require stainless, or solid surface, or granite. Laminate's not approved for some countertops. Sometimes they are. They don't want any exposed wood. It's hard to clean plywood, but laminated plywood, fine. Plan review. Go to the health department, online or in person. They'll give you a packet. Food service construction guide. Structural requirements in the kitchen area. Floors, walls, ceiling, lighting. Sinks. Checklists. It's all there. Go in and get it early. Ask questions. Page 3. That's all the techie, boring stuff. But I'm telling you, if I was paid based on the money people spent that they didn't think they were going to spend, I would be on some island somewhere right now. I might own it. It's terrible to see people spend money on rent and issues that they just didn't know. So hopefully some of those things saved you some money. Menu. What's on your menu? That's going to drive the equipment. Let's go over some menu items. Hot drinks, hot chocolate, tea, coffee, espresso drinks, cold drinks, iced tea, bottled water, sodas, wine, beer, smoothies, pastries, desserts, cookies, muffins, soup, salad, sandwiches, panini, common items you find in a cafe menu, ice cream and gelato, common. Here's the thing. Beverages, food, mix and match, do what you want to do. But before you start, you need to ask yourself these 2 questions. What items will be stored and prepared on site? What items will be purchased from an outside vendor? It's a big difference between telling the bakery you want them to deliver a dozen blueberry muffins every day at 6 a.m. They show up in a box, you put them in the display case. Done. There is no bakery anymore. There's no one even within 200 miles. So now what do? Well, you went to a food show, you went and saw Cisco or US Foods or whatever, and they've got this thing called par-baked items. Scoop and bake, or frozen pucks with our chocolate chip cookies, or bagels. They come frozen. You put them in the convection oven. Or you thaw them and put them in the convection oven. 30 minutes, you got croissants, blueberry muffins, chocolate chip cookies. Then they go in the display case. So even though you're selling blueberry muffins, this one, all I need is display them. This one, I need a freezer space and a convection oven. Totally different, same menu, but different equipment needs. Now, go to your food shows, try a product out, and see if some of those things will work for you, because if you bring in 2 dozen bagels. And the sales guy comes by and takes 18 of them for a sales meeting. You're left with 6. And you're not getting any more deliveries that day. So, time comes about 8, 9 o'clock, you're out of bagels. And this happens too many times, and pretty soon people don't come to you because you're out of product. Or, this is great, I'm going to bring in 2 dozen bagels. Well, now you've got 12 left over. They're day olds and they don't taste very good. So there's that fine line between knowing who's going to buy your product without running out. In the par bake convection oven, bake 6, bake 6, bake 6, bake them on demand as you need them. So that could be cost effective. And they're good. Now the menu and the equipment, now you can start designing your cafe. But these menu items that we're talking about that drive this equipment, either you're going to heat something, display something, cook something, or store something, decide it early. So hypothetically, you're thinking about adding a dishwasher to your cafe, but you find out the thing costs about $4,000. For a nice little under-counter dishwasher that'll do a rack of dishes in 90 seconds. Only uses a gallon of water. Wonderful, save labor. $4,000 a little bit on the budget. So put the plumbing and electrical in the wall and the drain for the dishwasher that you will buy in 2 months, 6 months, 8 months as you need it. So you kind of hedge your bet. Put in the utilities, allow the space for it, but don't buy the appliance. These pieces of equipment you need no matter what the menu is. I have to have a mop sink to clean the floors for the health department. I must have a hand sink in the kitchen storeroom where I'm washing things, and one out front where I'm serving things. So definitely probably 2 hand sinks. I need a 3-compartment sink. It's got a drain board and a big compartment, usually about 16 by 20 inches, to wash, rinse, sanitize, and then I've got an area for dry dishes. I need a water heater to heat the water. They do not want you to run out of hot water. Usually it's about a 70-gallon unit. Water filter or softening. You need an ice machine. You'll need refrigeration for your milk products or items, blended smoothie drinks, etc. You need a work table just to prepare things and set things up. And storage shelving for syrups and cups and lids, to-go boxes. No matter what your menu, you need all that. Now as I add to the menu on page 4, my menu is just coffee and espresso and pastry items brought in from off-site. It's all I'm serving, so I need a coffee grinder and a brewer. That will take care of the coffee. My espresso machine and espresso grinders for the espresso drinks. A display case to display the pastry that gets delivered. Or maybe a countertop display, either acrylic or a glass sneeze guard. So that's my menu, that's my equipment. I add to the menu. The pastry is now brought in from an outside vendor. So I need this convection oven we kind of touched on. Electric, half size typically. Could be on a stand with tray slides, mounted on a wall. You need a freezer to store those par-baked items. You need blenders to do the smoothies. Fridge below, ice bin. There's a picture of the ice bin with the lid open. And a rinse sink to rinse out the blender pitcher when you're going from strawberry to banana. Now we add to the menu again. People say, I'm not really into Taco Bell and Burger King. Every day at lunch I get 35 minutes. I'm so happy you're here. Are you gonna serve anything to eat? Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do just some kind of a Subway Panera sandwich soup deal. And so I need a prep sink to wash a tomato, lettuce, onions, cucumbers. I need that to wash if I'm doing smoothies with whole fruit. I got to wash the strawberry, I need a prep sink. Sandwich prep table, you've seen that similar at Subway, except at Subway you see the product right in front of you. But ham, cheese, sprouts, tomato, lettuce. A panini grill for panini sandwiches. Soup comes frozen in a bag, thawed out. Dump it in there. turn on the timer, 60 minutes, you got soup of the day. I bet you that most of the restaurants you go to, you're getting soup in the bag. But it's not, you can add stuff to it, but it's not bad. You can tell I'm a culinary expert. A display case, to display these sandwiches, people, I have people tell me they sell more sandwiches between 6 and 8 a.m. than they do between 11 and 1 in the afternoon. And well, what? They're too busy. They come in for a coffee and a pastry. They grab the sandwich. They know they're going to be on the road. They're never going to have a chance. A back-to-back meetings. They put in the company fridge, or they're a contractor. They stick it in the cooler, and off they go. So you're selling lunch at 7 a.m. So put them out there so you have that opportunity. Ice cream, simple. Get 4 or 8 premium ice creams. Don't get the ones you can get in the supermarket. Upscale it. And it's simple. Just drop them in there and scoop them out, and you've got, ice cream cones or little sundaes. Gelato, same thing. Find a gelato supplier, test it out, put it in a gelato case. If you're making gelato, it's a little more involved with batch freezers and pasteurizers, and you better be called the Gelateria Cafe, because if you come to me and say, I think gelato would be kind of fun. Yeah, I don't think you're a gelato person. You need to really, really know that product, where you get it, how it's done, because it's an expensive part. If it's only 5% of your menu, I don't think you're going to make it. But if it's much more than that, that might be a nice product. A thing about the gelato cases, people, they come from Italy typically, Turkey I think as well. They're typically 42 to 46 inches deep and 4 foot, 5 foot wide. When the truck shows up, because this thing was kind of delayed, you didn't make the decision as soon as you want, it was on a container coming from Italy, finally shows up, you're going to open in less than a week. The truck backs up, lift gate, drops it down, you sign for it, they drive away, you uncrate it, put it on a nice 4-wheeler, you've got 5 people helping you, and you wheel it over to the door, and you turn. Oops. How about this? No. 42 inches by 60 inches, I used to teach math, will not fit through a 36-inch door. I don't care what you do. And it's not coming apart. You're laughing. It happens. I cannot tell you how many people buy equipment that will not fit in their spot. Oh, we'll just take out a window. Landlord goes, yeah, right. About $3 grand for my insurance and the resealing, etc., etc. So make sure it'll fit. You got double door, no problem, but if the double door has a mullion in it, then you got to watch that too. Let's talk about floor plan design. That was the menu. You divide the cafe into 2. Front of the house, I'm going to call that back there. Front of the house, anywhere the customer walks. Back of the house, anywhere the employees are. Cash register is the dividing line. Yellow, employees. Green, customers. Red, cash register, dividing line. Employees, customers. Page 5. Front of the house, customer areas are this stuff. Lighting and soffit and flooring and retail, seating, fireplace, music. It's your personality, it's your clientele you want to attract. Curved soffits. Linear soffits that are wood. Angular soffits with another drop can, or little pendant lights. Brick fireplaces with wicker. Big, thick log furniture. Well, that kind of makes sense. That's in Duluth, Minnesota. Paul Bunyan land. Kind of antique furniture. Works great in the historical home. Do things on the floor with tile, a mural. A lot of people are adding roasters in their site. Kind of a roaster retailer. That's all part of your branding. Look at the different things you can do with this exposed ceiling, with little clouds and track lighting, curved bars, different two-tone colors of the wall. Another example of exposed ceiling, but the area over the prep is finished. Different ways to do pendant lights. Nice little retail display and artwork. Bar at the front counter, tile wall with the menu board. I mean, they all have a different personality, and I'm sure there's one or two you said, yeah, I like that. I bet there's a few that you said, what were they thinking? I mean, the log home down in Key West doesn't work, I don't think. So you're trying to brand to the people you want to attract. Now, in the back of the house, the employee areas, all right, they're designed to be efficient. Your kitchen, your storeroom, or your office, that's your area. The front and back service counters, the coffee, espresso, smoothie, and the food station. These are now the employee areas. The backroom kitchen, stainless steel, white walls, sinks, prep table, refrigeration. There's that convection oven on a stand with tray slides. There's a prep sink, trash can. Here's a back counter, smoothie station, drive-through. Another extension, rinse sink, ice bin, blender, brewers, fridge, cup dispensers. Back counter, employee areas. Microwave. Now, the front of the house, you know, that's your personality, and there's no right or wrong way to do that. Because you might like blue, I like green. But in the back of the house, there is a right or wrong way to do it, my opinion. You can screw this up. And I've seen some that are kind of screwed up. And we're going to talk about that. So, I don't get the front of the house. I'm not the interior design person, the lighting, the soffit, the color. Hypothetically, your ice machine in the back room makes ice. It does not know whether you have a wood chair or a metal chair, or if the wall is green or blue, or if you have can lights or track lights. The ice machine's in the back. It doesn't know, it doesn't care. That's me. I don't care what your decor is, because you could go from, you know, high-end Italian Starbucks to Northwood Lodge Caribou. The ice machine's still sitting in the same spot. Okay? So I want you to understand, I'm coming about this from the back of the house. Start in the back. The employee areas, determine your menu. Menu is going to drive the equipment. We talked about that. Make sure it's efficient. The employees have specific stations. There's a logical traffic flow, and customers know where to walk in, where to order, where to pick up, head to the condiment counter. So let's talk about designing this. Start in the employee areas first, in the back. Now, I'm telling you, I see plans, they bring them to Coffee Fest or the Specialty Coffee Association, or they email them, and they said, I want you to look at our plan and see if we're on the right track. Great, love to see other stuff. And they send the plan, and they got all the tables and the chairs, the retail, the little water feature, the fireplace, the little kid area, the little conference room. It's all perfect from the front door all the way to the cash register. And there's just this box that says counters. And a little box that says kitchen. Little box that says kitchen way back here. I go, this is great. It's wonderful. What's your menu? Soup, salad, sandwiches, espressos, blended smoothie drinks, par-baked items, and I'm going, I don't think you're going to get all this in this space. What? No. I know you're not going to get all that stuff in this space based on that menu. I mean, you might be good for bottled water and juice and maybe some pour-over brewing. But you saw all that equipment we needed. Just the health department alone, with the sinks, the refrigerators, the ice machines, the shelving, the mop sink, the water heater, takes up space. So, based on their menu, I take their beautiful plan they've worked months on, and I take this line, and I start pushing it this way. Oh, you know, there went the kids area, and then there went the retail. Because if you don't get the back, you don't open. So I push this line forward and, you know, it doesn't make any sense. Start in the back, because until you get this equipment in here, it doesn't work. I don't care if this is a 4-top, make it a 2-top if you run on a spade. This is flexible. There's nothing connected with a cord, a plug, or a water line. If you have a drive-through, it changes things a little bit. I want to start in the back, but I can't start in that corner because the drive-through is down here. So I'm going to start here and work up and pick up this drive-through so that when cars come through, I've got espresso, smoothies, a cash register near that area. Okay, and here's my back kitchen area. So, page 6. A very basic kitchen storeroom, front and back counter. I taught 6th grade math, so here's the first quiz. When you get your plan, take all the equipment and counters and highlight them in green or blue or whatever color you choose. Any aisle highlighted in red. There should be about a 2-part equipment counter to 1 part of aisle. So you have twice as much equipment and counter. There is no excuse for this wall to be here. Now I got 1 part aisle, 1 part equipment. Done 800 of these. I think 2 of them I had about 6 or 8 feet of white wall. If your plan has a white wall on it with no equipment, I think someone might have screwed it up. If I can't get this thing down 18 inches at least to get some shelving, these are only 23 or 4 inches deep, all right? Got to get something there. So I can stand here, drop off the soiled dishes, wash, rinse, sanitize, dry area here. I've got an ice machine, mop sink, freezer, refrigerator. Out of the fridge, wash the tomatoes, chop them, cut them, put product in the convection oven, out to the display case. You're not living back here, folks. You're washing things or prepping things. You're living out here. All right? Typically about 9 feet by 25 feet. That's just a rectangle. Now, you can certainly have an L-shaped kitchen, maybe. It does not need to be any more than 9 feet. Because this big piece of equipment across from this big piece of equipment, you still have a nice 3.5-foot aisle. And if you think, well, I'm going to put the center island in here. When you put a center island in here, now start doing that 2-to-1 ratio thing. About parts of equipment in the aisle. It eats up all your aisle. And you will be paying for a bunch of dead white space. Very, very rarely, unless this outside fixed walls are such where maybe I've run some shelving or a work table down the middle. Not as often. It's not something I absolutely start putting an island in. I know it's good in your house, but not here. This is what your storeroom looks like before the equipment gets installed. White FRP, fiberglass reinforced panels. It's like the inside of a shower stall. About 1/8 inch thick. Waterproof. Health department loves it. Floor to ceiling. Quarry tile floor with an integral coved base. So this piece of tile that goes up the wall has a little bit of a radius on the bottom. Health department does not like right angles because it's hard to clean. So this piece of tile here is actually one piece that goes up the wall that actually that's built into. Now out in the front area you've got this nice Italian tile. And it doesn't have this thing called the code base. So you just tell the contractor, take the 16 by 16s, cut them in half, and we'll just stick this little 8-inch one on its end. Health department comes by and looks and goes, remember that code base we talked about? Oh yeah, we got it in the back. Isn't it beautiful? Look at it. Just like you said. I go, what happened out here? Oh, we're not going to put that ugly brown stuff out there. We got this beautiful Italian 16-inch tile. But there's no code base. Oh, they don't make it. The health department says, get something that works, that's close. Because that ain't gonna work. So then I get to tear down because you didn't follow the rules. Or if you cry a lot and you just start whining and kicking your feet, they'll say, stop crying and fix it. All right, here's your kitchen storeroom after equipment's installed. Stainless and white stuff. Okay? The designers, the front of the house people who I'm not, flowers, concrete pillars, nice contrasting, color coordinated to the tilt. That is beautiful. But now, once you deliver product into your kitchen, see, these kitchens are boring. This one is beautiful because we got color coordinated blue tape with the blue soap. Uh-oh. See the red label? Coordinates with that red tape. We got red markers. There's a little color back there, but typically it's really boring. Common problem, people don't have enough storage. Smoothie mix, cups, to-go boxes, pitchers, more syrup, lids, lots of big bulky stuff. How many people have a 2-car garage? How many people wish they had a 3? If you have a 3, you want a pull barn, off-site storage. It's no different in here. Does your garage look like this? No. It's very organized because you don't have a choice. If it's not organized, it doesn't fit. You're forced to make it organized. But a solution to help this out is if you haven't found a spot yet, try and ask the landlord or if you're in the process of, I need 12-foot ceilings. I was at this seminar, Coffee Fest. The guy said, if I get 12-foot ceilings in my kitchen, it will help. Can we do that? Not a problem. All the ductwork's out there. We can just take this 10-foot ceiling, which is typical. Small enough you don't need a sprinkler system. We'll just raise the grid up. Ceiling doesn't work anyhow. It's got all that acoustical stuff you told me about. That's gone. So we raise it up, put a new grid and drop in vinyl ceiling. I'll do that, sign the lease, we're good. So now you got this thing up at 12-foot ceiling. And in your plans, you make sure that you tell the contractor to put plywood backing in the wall. You've hung pictures at home with little round plastic plugs, and do they work? Are you afraid that your nice $500 paintings get dropped to the floor because this thing's kind of wobbly? Before you put sheetrock on, cover the areas that need shelving with plywood. Put the FRP over it. Fill in the bottom areas with the same 5/8 inch sheetrock. When you go to put the screw in, you're going through the FRP fiberglass, maybe through sheetrock or else right into plywood. And you got 3 screws here and 3 screws there. I could use that as a step stool. The bracket will probably break. But these screws aren't coming out of the wall. They just don't. I mean, it's there. So if I only have an 8-foot ceiling, floor's down here, this shelf is kind of a utility shelf at 5 feet. About right here. This shelf, number 1, is at 6'6", right here. And then I got my ceiling at 8 feet. So I got about 18 inches for product. Because my ceiling is right here. Okay? It's basically here, 8 feet. So I only got room for 1 shelf. So when you go lease a spot, sometimes you might want to look. I like space A and B. They're both good. But this one has 12-foot ceiling, this one has 8. Might be one of the factors. The 10-foot space, again, we got a little 5-foot utility shelf. 6'6". This one is at 7'9". So now I'm up here. Look, I just doubled the space with the 10-foot. 12-foot. 5', 6'6", 7'9", 9'6". Isn't that beautiful? You go, well, I'm not that tall. So you get a 3-foot step tool. I'm 6 foot. 3 foot, math, 3 and 6, I'm 9. If I can't reach 6 inches, I'm in trouble. Okay? Now, I'm not storing bowling balls up here, people. This is not lead. This is to-go cups, sugar packets, and stir sticks. If you drop a box, it doesn't hurt anybody. Cut the box open like this and go up there and pull a sleeve of cups out. Now, if you go back and you can imagine if I've got an 8-foot ceiling, I got 1 shelf, but now I got 12. This 25 feet, I got 50 linear feet of shelving here that I don't have. And another 50 over here. Now, it's not going to go over existing shelving or refrigerator freezers, but you can get 1 more shelf up there. So I'm saying you just exponentially increase the amount of dry storage, the big bulky stuff, and you're paying rent based on floor square footage, not cubic feet. So go vertical and get this extra storage if you can, because it's there for the asking. Little pre-planning at work. You got no ceiling. Now we're talking about 7-foot ceiling. Stuff gets put on the floor, the work table becomes shelving, health department gets mad you can't clean. The more of this stuff you put on the floor to satisfy your storage needs, California is like writes it into the plan. 32 linear feet of this stuff. That's from here to the wall. And more. You lose tables and chairs. This does not make you money, people. This does. So I don't want less of this, more of this. Page 7. If I'm standing looking at the menu board, my toes are 9 feet away from the menu board on the wall. So if you start looking at spaces that are only 14, 16, even 18 feet wide, you got to remember that I need about 4 or 5 feet right here for customers to stand and walk back and forth. So now I'm at 13 feet, and if I'm only 16 or 18 feet, it doesn't leave me much room for tables, chairs, or retail. Condiment counter. And then what it ends up being is you got this skinny little wall that looks like a school bus. So what I'm saying is I'd rather have a 30-foot wide by 50-foot deep at, 1,500 square feet than something that's 18 by 70. Okay? When you come in that front door, you should instinctively know where to start, where to go. If you have to tell people, order here, pick up here, I think maybe there's something wrong. If I walk in there and I want to pass some retail impulse items like whole bean coffee, tea, hats, mugs, t-shirt, gift basket, some special items that you merchandise, I come to the display case. That's where we start. Bottled water, juice, cookies, muffins, scones. I stand here, look up at the menu board, and I say, I'm going to have that big blueberry muffin right there. The one, no, that one. Yep, that's the one I want. House blend large. I step over here, $4.95. I make change, off to the condiment counter. Next guy walks in, he wants a latte and a bagel, pays for it. Takes a little longer, so he's down here waiting for it at the pickup area. Somebody orders a coffee and a breakfast sandwich down here. Pick it up. I just want a bottle of water. Boom, right here. I just want 3 chocolate chip cookies for the kids right here. The longer the lead time it takes to get the customer their product, the further from the front door they're picking it up. I can't tell you how many times they said, that is my espresso machine, period. There's my front door. I am a coffee shop. I want to have this. That's what I need to do. Okay? So now what? So I get the person to go from here. Are they getting their coffee, their espresso drink first and then paying? Oh yeah, this is great. So I'm back here and I'm waiting for 3 people in front of me waiting to get espresso drinks, and all I want is a brewed coffee. How long do you think that guy's going to last that wants coffee? He hates waiting for espresso drink. Just wants a brewed coffee. He's mad that they can spend $4 on the darn drink. All right? So they go wait to get a drink and then pay? Oh, no. They'll come down here and pay. If they want espresso, they go here. And if they want coffee, they go here. And where's the pastry? I mean, people, it doesn't work. So, quick lead time items, bottle of water, juice, soda, bagel, muffin, coffee, do that. Long lead times down there. Condiment counter. Do not put that condiment counter here. Guy came by the booth yesterday with a plan they drew up, and there was a condiment counter right there. I'm going, this is prime real estate. This is how you're preparing and serving things. So the lady comes up. She orders a house blend large. Comes in every day. Slides down to the condiment counter. Right there. She paid. She just moved right to here. She grabs a sugar packet and tears it at a 45-degree angle. Always 45, and starts on the right side of the sugar packet. And drills it 3 times around. She's almost counting how much is going in. Takes a stir stick, clockwise fast, counterclockwise super fast, 3 taps. Sugar packet again, other direction. This goes on for 25 seconds. While you're watching people leave, these people are going, you know, ma'am, thank you for your money, but go over there. I'm moving my condiment counter. You got their money. Goodbye. Thank you, but go over there because I got 8 people here wanting to give me more money. And you're blocking this. You do not want to clog this area. Get them their product, get them their coffee, get their money, and get them out of there. Because that's what they want. Do you think they want to stand in line? No, they got somewhere to go. They want to go sit down. They want to get their coffee and leave. And these people understand it's going to take longer to get their drink because they're used to it. It's custom made for them. They're used to it. But the coffee guy doesn't get it, and the bottle of water guy doesn't get it, and the yogurt guy don't get it. Because they don't want it. Employees work from the front counter to the back counter, not linear. Do you see this 3'6"? I can't tell you how many times people come to me and say, I want 5-foot aisle. This is too small. Why? My employees are going to bump into each other. Really? This one employee right here can dispense coffee or pull coffee from the brewer grinder, get the pastry, pay for it, and literally not move more than this. Okay? The espresso person's got cups, fridge, knockbox, dipper wells. They need ice, it's right here. Sandwich guy's got panini, soup, plates, cups. I got one here, one here, one here. Add more as you need them. Or just 2. One here, one there. The reason they want a 5-foot aisle, because they'll run into each other, is because of this. I'm going to make a smoothie now. The wrong way. Okay? Blueberry smoothie, large, okay. Down here, get the cup. Put the ice in it over here. Then I got to go get the fridge. And then to the blender. There you go. $3.95. You hired track stars? You just wiped out the guy at the pastry counter. You ever followed your customer? Thinking the closer you are to them, the quicker you'll get your product? So now the customer's following you. I'm in a hurry. Oh, he's over here. I'm going to go. You just got a train wreck. So have them work in stations linear. 3.5 feet. I'm standing here. I'm going to get the ice. It's a little shuffle step. 3.5 feet. That's all I need. 5 feet. 1, 2, You do that for a 5-year lease, 300 some days a year. Why? Because that 2 feet just cost you tables for no reason, and it increased your labor. Wow, wasn't that a sweet deal? Here's the front side. So if they're waiting, and you do have a line, and that's what you want, maybe there's something they might buy. Maybe there's a little table next to the display case. If you got a line, wouldn't it be nice to have them stand in front of that beautiful cheesecake? Or the sandwich? Or something that they can buy rather than an espresso machine, which they'll never buy in their life? Okay? So put them in front of things you're going to buy. This is the back side of that counter. Now this is a while ago, but it's a perfect picture because it's small enough to fit on the screen. There's the display case, there's the cash, there's the espresso machine, panini, ice, brewer. Cash, espresso, sandwich. This is the plan that we just looked at. Build stations. I've got cups, lids, air pots, plates, to-go boxes, bags, little miscellaneous cash drawer. I can make cash and probably open that display case and dispense coffee if someone nailed my shoes to the tile. Literally, I think I could almost do it without moving. The espresso station. Espresso machine, couple grinders, knockbox, fridge, cups, dipper well, knockbox right through the trash. I mean, I'll step back to open the fridge, okay, and come back again. But I'm not running. Right behind me's ice. I want to make a sandwich. I got soup. I got bowls. Panini's right behind me. Cups, trash, little microwave to heat up a pastry. Right under the brewer station. The brew basket's full. Pull open the trash. All those dripping coffee grounds. I'm not running around. You know, where do I put this? Burning my hand. Pull it out. Dump it. Back in. So you make it efficient for employees. Ice, fridge, cups, smoothie, blender. So design this to be efficient. Build it into your counters. I've seen cafes where they just bought a bunch of $400 stainless steel work tables. Everything's on the top. Nothing built in. They're starting to run because there's nowhere to go. So the benefits of a well-designed plan: increased employee efficiency. Again, I don't have to move very far, so if I am more efficient, now can I run this with 2 people instead of 3? That's the goal. Minimize your labor costs. If your labor costs are, or your employees are more efficient, you have an improved speed of service. The customers get their product in 10 seconds, 20 seconds instead of 2 minutes. The line is shorter. Well, the line's bigger, but it just moves. Okay? Because you are better than these guys, you keep your customers, but steal theirs because they're not very quick. Doing the thing that we talked about with the ceiling, shelving, high ceilings, using the space efficiently in the back can get you more seating and more retail up front. Not 5-foot aisles, 12-foot ceilings. It all ends up being better bottom line profits, and that's what this is all about. This is not just a job, it's something to make a real good, decent living at. So on December 31st, what's the value, over 1 year or maybe 5 years, if I came to you on December 31st and said, here is the value of that one employee you didn't have to hire all year, and you still got the job done. $25,000, here you go. Have a nice vacation. Pay off your Christmas presents. How about 5,000 more customers? What's that, 20 customers a day? You can steal 20 customers from them a day. Because once you get them, they're the regulars. They're just like every day on the way to work. Once they're trained, if you don't screw it up, they'll keep coming back. So you've got to get these people from somewhere else. What is that worth over 5 years? Or 6 more seats. You got 36 seats, you got 30 seats. all things being equal, you should end up with more money. Because you had more spots for people to come and you weren't always full. Page 8. Getting close. People ask, how much space do I need? Kitchen, service counters, seating, and restrooms. If I take those on a 1,500 square foot space, that's typically how many square feet are ascribed to each one of those. Fairly common. The seating area is literally about half of a 1,500 square foot space. Now, if you want to know how many seats you're going to get in the spot, divide it by 20. And that'll get you a good idea. Building inspectors will divide it by 15 to determine the occupancy load, which drives parking and fire exits. But for your general seat count, divide it by 20. Now, if I had a 1,200 square foot cafe, and a 1,500 square foot cafe, and an 1,800 square foot cafe, and a 2,000 square foot cafe, and the menu relatively is the same. Let's say the menu is the same. This did not change, the restrooms. The service counter area did not change. The kitchen and storeroom did not change. Just because I grow to 2,000 square feet versus 1,400 square feet, I only need one 3-compartment sink, people, and one 2-door refrigerator and one ice machine. The back room and counters are literally fixed at that 600 to 750 square feet with the restrooms. So as you grow to 1,500 and 1,800 square feet, you're adding 100% seating or retail, which generates money. There's very, very successful 700 square foot cafes. But there's a lot of 1,400 square foot cafes that sunk a ton of dough into this. And they don't have enough of this because they're very successful. They're just, I mean, they would do really well if they just had that community table for the students by the university. But if they do that, they're not going to get any of the regulars. So you got to kind of weigh that out. 2,200 square feet, really good? Well, why not? Well, your rent's going to kill you. It might suck all the life out of all the profits. The fine line, how big? Above and beyond the bare necessity. There's drive-thrus with no seating that do $1 million a year. That's seating the place. Great. All right. So here's just a general guideline. I took hundreds of projects, not hundreds, but hundreds to come up with this kind of breakdown. Can I give you an idea? If you're looking at 1,800 square feet, if you come back to me and you say, I only got 30 seats in there, Tom, what happened? Someone screwed up, or else you love couches. Do not put a couch in a cafe. You ever seen you and me? Come on. I'll sit in the middle. Let's just go have our coffee. You ever seen that? No? Why do you do that then? Oh, I've got this couch. Put it in your house at the lake cabin. Put nice little barrel chairs like you see in the hotel lobby and pull them together. It's not necessarily the number of seats, but it's the number of seating opportunities. Meaning, if I fill my cafe with 4 top tables, 4 seaters, and I sit down with my laptop and my newspaper, I just wiped out, I got 25% occupancy here. But if I had two tops, slide them together, now I got 4 for my group of 3. Now I'm at 75% occupancy. So take a couple 2s and put them together. I like having a community table, but one table that has 10 seats versus 3 4s, okay? You can split them apart when you don't have the Rotary Club and the Bible study there. You are not an airline and you do not have 1 year to park butts in those seats. Okay, you don't know what's coming from day in and day out, so have multiple options. Single bar seats at the bar or at the window, 2 tops, a few 4 tops, but no 3-person couches. How long does this take to open? Plan, design, revisions, approvals, about a month. Somebody has done it before. Health department building permits, so if it's done right and you give them the documents, you should get that back within a month. I have areas where they go in there and they come in and out within an hour. Same day. You go to California and you have 4 weeks plus because they're going to send it back and they're going to be at the pile again for another 2 weeks. Contractor, 6 weeks to build it out. He's got all the plans, plumbing, electrical, tile, light, sheetrock, permits, dumpster. And then the equipment shows up and you install it. It takes about 3-4 days. Final inspections, a little dry training, and you're open in 4 months. Stuff that we talked about in the slideshow earlier. 4 months to open this thing. So while you're negotiating with the landlord and he's going to give you 3 months free rent, and that's all summer long and that's an eternity. Oh, if I can't get this done, I'm an idiot. You forget about this. Health department building permit 4 weeks. You can't do anything. You can't cut a hole in the floor. You can't put a wall up until the health department says yes. And usually the building permit will not give you anything until the health department says it's okay to do this. Because if that building inspector, what they used to do is say, go ahead and start building. The health department says, see the hand sink there? I want it there. And it's already plugged. Now you got to rip it out and says, hold it now. No. Bob gave me this permit and I did it. You two work for the same city and I paid you $500, I paid you $1,500 for this permit. I am not moving it. Oh yeah, you are. And there's a war. So usually, they come first. So if they take 30 days, now it kicks over to here. How long are they in, or else it's tracked. So this is the one that people forget about. So when you go to the landlord, you need landlords here, leasing agents? Uh-oh. Here's the deal. They're going to give you hypothetically 3 months free rent. And you think that's a long time until today. 4 months. So you go to them and say, I really like your spot. This is really going to work out good. I'm really excited. Got a little problem though. I know you can give me 3 months. They go, I'm not giving you no more. Oh, come on. Serious? I was at a seminar. They need 4 months. You're only giving me 3? Yep, that's it. All right. I'll do it for 2 months. Guy goes, what? You whined about 3 months not being long enough? Now you're only asking 2 months free rent. Yes. I want 2 months free rent, but the lease starts here. When I get my building permit from the city, my 2 months start, and then I start paying you rent. This is clockwork, people. This is a mess. Variances, you're paying the landlord $3,000 a month in rent, and they're trying to figure out parking variance or some step or ADA code, or the architect's got to resubmit to this, and your food service equipment guy, went on vacation. It's ugly. But once you get that permit, all the problems are solved. Now it's just build it. So that could work 2 months from when the lease is signed, because the landlord knows Sarah at the city who issues these things. Their kids went to school, their neighbors, and they go, Sarah, you know the Jones approval? Can you move that up just a little bit? Because when you're done, I get paid. And then we go on vacation together. And I buy beer. And we'll take golfing, right? All of a sudden your little thing goes up. Oh, and the little issue we got in the back with the out of compliant thing, make that go away too. Thank you. See, now you have a partner. The landlord's your partner. Not like, oh, I didn't know you didn't have parking. Well, that's too bad. And you're stuck. General numbers, equipment, cabinetry, furniture, tables, chairs, sinks, refrigerators, ice machines, convection ovens, display cases, under-counter refrigerators, prep table, about $65,000. That's a real common number for all new equipment, 1,800 square feet. Espresso machine, brewers, grinders, I'm going to say 15 grand. I don't get involved in espresso equipment, coffee equipment. All those people downstairs do that. Dozens of them. And maybe 1 or 2 of me. They're my friends. I don't want to do any of this. They send me this stuff, I say, okay, tell me what you're doing, I'll put it in there. POS menu board signage, miscellaneous, put 20 grand on there. People underestimate this. The contractor, how could you possibly spend $100,000 on a build out of 1,500 square feet? I'm not building a house. I can build a house for that, little one. Commercial construction, just, you'd be surprised. All that plumbing, electrician, it ends up being this and sometimes more. You go to Hawaii, 3 times that. LA, New York. Go to middle of Nebraska, it might be less. Nope. Problem with northern Minnesota. All right. You might have some design fees, permits, applications. Sometimes there's waste and sewer charges. Oh, I only got 200 grand, so I don't do it? Well, landlord, you do this plumbing electrical because you have a construction arm, and instead of giving you 20 bucks a square foot, I'll give you 25 over a 5-year lease. So now they're the bank and 100 grand goes away. Then you go to an auction and you get some of this stuff for use. And then you do some of the sweat equity, paint, tile, get the neighbors and the friends, and this number shrinks. But don't come to me and say I can do this for 50 grand, because people do. I'm going, I don't know how, if a bathroom is 7,000, you don't buy a used ADA restroom on eBay. I'll take 2, please, a men and a women. Oh, you got 2 men's? Bummer. All right, we'll take the one. I mean, it don't happen. You don't get a used floor drain. There's some construction costs that are going to happen. We've done a lot of cafes that used to be Starbucks. And Caribou just shut down 140 stores, and 70 of them closed, 70 of them turned to Pete's. They're not stupid. These are nice locations. For some reason, they're not making $10 million, they're only making $3 million a year, so they closed them. Didn't believe that, do you? So, it's just underperforming for one reason or another. So, you go into a Starbucks that's been closed. All the floor drains, the plumbing, the mop sink, the water heater, the restrooms, the tile, the ceiling, the lights, it's done. All you got to do is go find the equipment and plug it in. And then change the decor a little bit. Counters are different, so you can do this, or find a cafe that's struggling and just take over for them and do some things, you know, that might be a little different. Maybe they weren't on site. Maybe they were always, you know, just came by once a week to check it out, and it kind of fell apart. So mistakes. The biggest thing is this: building and health codes. That will sink you if you don't find out early. Sign the lease before you do a floor plan. I don't understand people that say, I'm not going to spend one dime on doing any design work until I sign a lease. So you won't spend a few $100s to see what it looks like, but you're willing to put $30,000 on the line and then figure it out if it works? I don't get it. You will find out so many things with a floor plan in your hand going down to the city that you wish you would have known. All that nasty parking, electrical panel, HVAC, how many seats. How could you possibly do a business plan and not know what your equipment costs are or how many seats you have in there? What bank's going to give you money and you say, well, I got 1,800 square feet. Okay, and where's the plan? Yeah, this business plan, I mean, is that this space? Paying months of rent before you're open. Another big mistake. I mean, I've had people pay tens of thousands of dollars and not be open because of all this nasty stuff. Floor plans that are not functional or efficient. Adding, again, I'm adding labor. Incomplete plans. So, espresso guy shows up with the nice 3-group espresso machine, and he's ready to do the install as part of the contract, to do the training. Contractor goes, no floor drain. No water line. Got electrical 120 though, but this 208, single phase, 30 amp, that ain't gonna work. Contractor, get over here, we got a problem. This guy says that we got no floor drain. Goes, well, I didn't have plans for that. How was I supposed to know? The thing he gave me was in Italian, centimeters. What am I doing? Make sure your plans are bulletproof concrete so you don't have change orders. This costs money and time. So now he's walking off the job because you can't show him where you told him what to do. And he didn't do it. Is it his fault? He might have known it, but if he'd put it in there like the other 4 contractors, his bid would have been too high. He wouldn't have got the job. So he took the cheapest one that put it in there, that knew you'd need it, but you didn't ask for it. He did it. So now the change order shows up. That's probably $1,800 bucks. You got to cut the floor again. Yuck. Last thing, not hiring and training the best employees. This group over here has a minimal budget. They're scrappers, all right? You know, find a way to make it happen. Kind of a Class B location maybe, not the best prime real estate, but you got the best employees because you used to teach school and you interviewed and you did personality surveys and you asked. You got it figured out with those employees. But, you know, good quality, not great location, but you guys, you mortgage bankers, tons of money, there's no budget. It's just spend, spend, spend. Class A, you know, just granite imported from Italy, the whole works. But you don't work there. This is just something to show off. So you come over and you think you're just going to shovel money into your pickup truck and drive off to the bank and deposit it. And the employees, I mean, you just pick the first 5 guys. So that'll work. You worked at the other cafe? Yeah, you run this one. You hire them. You do whatever you want. Okay? These guys will put you out of business like that. Because your employees don't care. What do you want? They don't care. They're getting paid like way above minimum wage because he could. But they don't care. And he comes back and says, why do we not have customers? Great plan, great equipment, beautiful location, all the money for advertising, but their employees are idiots. They don't care, but yours are the best. You will steal them. So all this stuff doesn't matter if you got, you know, mediocre help. So the decor brings people in based on the type of clientele you want to attract. But a good plan and a great staff will keep them coming back. That's the key, to keep them coming back. Now, if you would please fill out the evaluation forms that they handed out, because I'm sure that the Coffee Fest Tribal Council will meet back in Seattle and will vote somebody off the island. It would be terrible. And they have. Because of you people, there's some people that don't present because they were pitching an infomercial or they just weren't topical. But he's always trying to bring new people here, so it's new, fresh ideas. And it's up to you to kind of help him decide, should we keep doing this or not. So that's very important for David, and it helps keep the program up. And if there's any questions, 518 downstairs, right through till Sunday. Contact information is on the handout. I love it when people send me plans. What do you think of this? It doesn't cost anything. I love to see other stuff. What would you do? Bring the plans down to the show. I'll be up here if you have specific questions. Thank you very much. Good luck.